when I'm watching the show, it's for 42 minutes out of 24 hours. When I'm out there, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
It becomes real. There's nothing that you can do to stop what's going on to you.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
What's that conversation like with your significant other? It's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to be
leaving
going away for
a couple months.
Well, I get that question a lot. First of all, my wife Stacy went through the whole process with me because you can't tell anybody. Obviously, nobody knows what you're going through because it's you sign your non-disclosure, so I can't tell anybody except for my significant other. So she's going through the process with me, and quite frankly, I'm extremely fortunate because my wife is so fucking awesome. She was not only supportive, she enabled me to get better at it by walking me through it. Because there were times I'm like, I don't know, man. And she goes, no, man, this is not, you love this show. You want to test yourself. You know, the bottom line is I'm 57 years old. I'm retired. My kids are older. I'm looking like I'm on the back nine. You know what I'm saying? And then this Survivor opportunity comes along, and you either, go for it or you sit home and do shit.
Well, if you're going to do it, I'm imagining you're the type of person that goes full force.
I go full force. So once I decide, I say to her, listen, if I'm doing this, I'm going all in. And she goes, I want you to be all in. And I'm very fortunate. She was very supportive. And I almost started to say she enjoyed the process, too, of going through it and everything that went along with it, which can be hard on a significant.
I was going to say, it's got to be hard for her, too, because now when you get on Survivor, she only sees you every other Thursday. And that's on TV.
Every other Wednesday. Right,
yeah.
But it's even worse than that because she doesn't see me then because we tape. I come home and
then... You were home before the tape...
Right.
So you got home before the season even aired.
I literally disappear off the face of the earth for 54 days.
And your friends don't know where you are.
Nobody knows where I am.
Wow, that's
so she incredible. Not only... So think about what she had to go through. So check this out. While people say, like, oh, my God, that must have been so hard. And yet, it was hard to play the game. But if you think about it, my wife had it harder than me. While I'm here as Mike Turner... I got to worry about my kids. I got to worry about my business. I got to worry about my friends. I got to worry about where am I going to go? Who am I going to park? Wow. I got to worry about everything in the world. I leave. I worry about one thing, the game.
You worry about Mike Turner.
Right. My wife had to worry about all those things now. The bills, the house, the kids, the issues that go along with having kids. Is Zach going to graduate? Just all those things were put on her. And I felt bad about it. And that's why I almost I don't know if I should just do this to you. Quite frankly, she goes, no, you freaking do this. This is your dream. You've been wanting to do this for your whole life. You deserve this. You always put everybody ahead of you.
That's a good woman.
She's a great woman. I'm very, very fortunate.
But I think she was smart enough to understand that if she were to put the kibosh on this, that there would be some sort of deep resentment inside of you.
Yes, and she's a very intelligent woman. So, yes, she probably did think that. I never thought that way, but you're right. I could have went.
She would have been crushing your dreams if she said you're not doing it.
And quite frankly, it was a dream. And listen, I'm very thankful. Again, I didn't realize I was old. So going in at 57, and quite frankly, CBS and Survivor taking a chance on a guy like me to go out there and, quite frankly, on a crappy video that I sent in, to take a chance on me. I what can you say? I'm a very, very fortunate person. I'm actually, honestly, I'm humbled by the whole experience. And not in terms of just being on the show, just right now, the aftermath of the show, the response I'm getting.
Because they call it reality stars, but you are a star to people.
Yeah, you gave hope to anybody like, an older...
You're an inspiration.
Yeah, wow, yeah, amazing.
But you go to, where was it filmed?
It was in Fiji. Yeah, we were in Fiji. Yeah, we were in Fiji.
Okay.
And you'd never be able to go to Fiji on your own, so, you might as well take the free trip.
I was like, I got a trip. Listen, I actually said that. They got not for nothing. The accommodations.
My mind has been in Fiji a few times.
All-inclusive resort.
The one thing I like about Fiji is that water they got. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Fiji.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
No,
but now if you went back to Fiji on vacation, you'd be staying in the resorts and everything else. It would be different.
I hope so.
From
Listen, you never know. Financially, I might have to sleep on the ground again.
That's what you got to do. Take your wife on vacation. Yeah, hey, we're going to Fiji. Yeah. And you go back to the same jungle you were staying in for.
You show up at Fiji, and you don't really know. Nobody knows where you are. You're sort of off the grid.
I didn't even do the Hoboken Whisper.
Yes, I love my Hoboken Whisper.
What's that like, that first day on the island? Like, walk us through. You come off the plane.
Well, we don't come off the plane. Here's what happens. We had to do quarantine for 15 days. So they stick you in a room.
Oh, this is during lockdown too, right?
Yeah, it's right at the beginning of COVID, which was really. We were the first commercial flights that were allowed into Fiji because they were on a total lockdown. They had extremely few COVID cases, and they wanted to keep it that way. So we were put in quarantine for 15 days. Literally, we're in a room by ourselves. And I mean, when I say by ourselves, I'm alone. The rest of the cast is someplace else. They're alone. And the only thing that happened, we get a knock on the door. They put your food there. They'd swab us once every 2 days to make sure we didn't have COVID. 15 days later, we get a knock on the door. We say we're moving. We get on a boat, and we're off to get ready to go on the show. And simply, they just wake you up and say you're on the show. That's it. And we pull up to the beach, and Jeff Probst is standing. It's exactly what you see on the show. It's surreal.
You land on the beach and the show starts. That's it.
That's
yeah.
it. You land on the beach, the show starts. That's it.
Once you see Jeff Probst, the show starts.
Wow.
It was
Yeah, it's
incredible. It was incredible seeing it. It was a very surreal moment for me because I've watched that
Yeah.
40 times prior to that happening. And now I'm standing out there as I arrive on the beach, and Jeff Probst is there waiting for me. Extremely surreal.
Paradise is not always what it seems, huh?
No, it's not.
What did it feel like?
This is
inside?
real shit, man.
Like what did you feel inside? Like that's got to be some.
You're a little
Just-
nervous because
yeah.
you're trying to absorb the moment. You got to remember, it's the first time I'm really seeing any of these other people that I'm on the island, especially the people that are on my tribe. And I'm trying to eye them down. I'm looking at their hands, and I'm looking at their hands. Do they have workers' hands? Do they have manicured hands?
exactly.
Wow.
Are their shoes?
Yeah.
What kind of shoes are they wearing?
Oh, you're
I'm
out.
already playing the game in my head. Who's the guy fixing his bandana or his hat? They want to look perfect. As we're riding on the boat over there, we're trying to get a glance at this, and then you pull up, and Jeff is standing there, and you're a little nervous because in that moment when it's do or die, you're either gonna shit the bed or you're not, and that's the moment. This is it. You've been waiting forever. It's your moment, and a lot of times in your life you go through. I remember even taking a fireman. I remember when I first took the fireman. It was my life taking that fireman. I knew that was my make or break, whether I was gonna be successful in my life. To me at that time, and when I was taking this, I remember this is the moment that I have the Y in the road. I'm either gonna go left here, or I'm gonna go right. If I go left, I'm gonna fucking make it. If I go right, I might crash and burn. And that's a heavy moment to put on yourself because that's it. Same thing when I landed on island. I said, this is the moment where I either do it or I don't do it. I'm either gonna be successful at playing Survivor, or I'm gonna shit the bed and I'll be out of here tomorrow.
But what was it like when Jeff Probst just says to you, "Welcome to Survivor"? Was it like you said? You said it was surreal.
It's surreal.
It's just like, holy fuck, I'm here.
That's exactly what I said. I said,
Holy Christ!
I remember looking and saying, "Holy fuck, I'm on Survivor." Talking to Jeff.
Talking to Jeff.
It's very surreal.
Yeah.
It's seriously.
Well, I wore a shirt specifically for you today.
I like it.
There's no greater joy than peeing outside because on those shows such as that, as a fan, I'm going to ask you a fan question: where the hell do you go to the bathroom?
Where do you shit?
We either do there's two places you can go. First of all, there are no porta potties. You hear that again? There are no bathrooms. There are no porta potties.
Do you at least have toilet paper?
No toilet paper.
Oh,
There's
my God.
nothing. It's literally what you see. We get nothing.
That's just downright torture. I don't think. Well, no, I shouldn't even say that. That's very bad.
Well,
Survivor. That's
it's
what
Survivor.
It is.
So
I would
gotta
be
remember,
out.
it's-
You don't have toilet paper? I'm out.
Yeah,
I give
goodbye.
up.
We used to dig
we're
holes.
supposedly marooned on an island with no supplies. So that's what it is. So you either
Supplies, you got diarrhea. That's what it is.
Well, the good thing is we didn't eat that much, so you don't go to the bathroom that much. I peed a lot, though. I peed everywhere. I marked every tree on that island. Well, listen,
Watching Survivor, you
2
see the
o'clock in
guys.
the morning, it's pitch dark. I'm bumping into stuff. I'm peeing on Jonathan's leg by accident. He's not too happy about that.
I always see you say watching Survivor. They'd be sitting there just lollygagging in the water. Those motherfuckers are peeing right there.
Yeah, you definitely. I made a lot of areas warm in that ocean. But you can do an aqua dump, which means you go in the ocean. You go in the ocean, or as they call it, you could do an aqua dump, which I did not like at all. Or we had an area where we just said, okay, this is gonna be an
Aqua
area.
dump isn't in the.
That's not a Hoboken word.
dictionary.
That's
No,
actually a great.
Yeah. An aqua
Put
dump
that in there.
Hoboken is the Hudson River.
Never,
Yeah, well, listen.
never
Aqua dump.
invite me over to your swimming pool because I got to try this. I got to try this.
I kind of like that.
Hey, Mike, we're going to take an aqua dump. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Aqua dump. That's my new word. That's my new word. But so in all honesty, you become accustomed. You become very soft by living in a civilization.
True.
By something as simple as toilet paper that now all of a sudden you have to do without. You have to do without everything. You have to be primal.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no toothpaste. There's no toothbrush. There literally is nothing. We're not washing our clothes. We always have the great idea, like, before you go on Survivor,
I'm gonna
and you're
do this, I'm
watching,
gonna do
you say,
that.
well, frick that. When I get out there, I'm gonna wash my clothes in the ocean. I'm gonna boil. When you're out there, here's what I say to everybody: when I'm watching the show, it's for 42 minutes out of 24 hours. When I'm out there, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
It becomes real. There's nothing that you can do to stop what's going on to you. It's the wettest I've ever been. It's the coldest I've ever been. It's the hungriest I've ever been. All within a 26-day period that I was out there.
But you did the Dewey Oxburger.
What's a
Okay?
Dewey Oxburger?
The Dewey Oxburger. Hey, you know,
See,
when he
Mike-
goes into the Army in stripes, he's like, hey, you got like an 8-week training program here. I think I'll lose some pounds, So, Mike, how do we get him? How do we get him
I
on
actually think
Survivor?
Mike's
What's
looking
up with
great.
Dewey Oxburger?
No, I'm not calling you Dewey Oxburger. I want to put you on Survivor. Drop
Aqua-
some weight.
No, see,
So Dewey Oxburger was
so
the John
mad.
Candy character? That's what it was?
I'm less pounds than both
Stripes. It's from Stripes. It's
Oh,
John
Stripes.
Candy and
Yeah,
Stripes.
Stripes. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Getting to that, how much weight did you lose on the island?
I lost 32 pounds.
Did you
And
really?
here's the thing is, when I got into shape before I went there because I wanted to be, again.
You're an
like,
academy guy.
Yeah, I do everything. If I do it right. So I prepared properly. So I lost about 20 pounds to go. So I went in at 205, and I left about 172, 173.
Wow, because you're a big guy. I mean, you're not a slight guy by any means. So 170 pounds had to be real.
I haven't been that weight since high school.
Yeah.
So
And then when you get home,
How much you put on after it?
I was a pig.
Well, all right.
I was a glutton.
When you came home, first meal you ate.
First meal I ate was Benny slices from Benny Tadino's in Hoboken, which I loved. They're like doormats. It was big. I ate 2 of those, and I had a loaf of cinnamon and raisin bread, which is one of my other favorite things.
Wow.
But my wife, my good wife, she was there at the airport. She had a bag full of goodies. She had my Bennies there. It was amazing. Because literally, we went to Final Tribal, which is the ending of the show. If you're out before that, you go to a place called the Ponderosa. Those people, they live the life of luxury.
Yeah,
It's
live,
amazing. It's like that's the vacation.
You almost want to be put on the tribal council. You know,
Yes.
if you get thrown out, all right.
You want to be on a jury.
People before tribal council, they get put in seclusion somewhere because they can't come home right away. Correct?
Everybody does.
Yeah.
So nobody comes home because then you would be able to know who got off the show.
But are the final people, you know, the jury,
They go to Ponderosa.
they segregated from the people that got thrown off before?
Yes. So there's 2 sets of people. There's pre-jury, they stay together, and then there's the jury, they stay together. They stay at the Ponderosa, which is a luxury resort. It's amazing. It's amazing
And
place.
they're living a life of luxury.
Right, so
they
they
went
get-
from nothing to everything.
Exactly. It's a great life. I fortunately and unfortunately didn't experience it as much as I would have probably have liked to. So, you know, the final tribal ends, you know, within 3 or 4 hours, I'm on a plane already heading back to the States. So when I landed, which was, you know, it was like about 18, 19 hours later, I'm still almost in the game. And, you know, I sat by myself. You can't talk to anybody. You're still sequestered. You can't talk to anybody. So I'm living in my own head. What happened? How'd it go? And I'm trying to, you know,
Process.
Thank you. Process is what goes on. And, you know, my wife said when I got the flame, she didn't recognize me.
Yeah.
Because I was so beat up, so tired. I had time to take a shower and eat breakfast, and we were on the shuttle.
You went to war.
Yeah.
In all reality, I mean, it's
How long were you there?
The game, 26 days
So 26 days you're there.
on that island.
Okay, out of those 26 days that you were there playing the game, what's the worst moment that you can remember?
I was just going to ask that.
Middle of the night, torrential downpour. You're literally laying there, and people think Fiji's warm. And I guess 40 is warm at night in some places if you have a blanket and a sweatshirt. But when it's pouring rain on you and it's 40 degrees and you're living out and you're laying on the ground or you're laying on this crooked, bumpy bamboo, it feels like every minute's an hour. And you're sitting out there, and thank God you at least have a couple of people with you. At least you could have somebody because if you were there yourself, at least you can have misery with somebody else and they kind of get you through. Those are the times that were roughest. It was like you felt that sun was never going to come up.
Did you ever go nut the butt?
Never. Never. Back to back.
That's so.
You know, I had to
It's
think-
a
I had to-
psychological game.
yeah.
It's amazing.
If I was playing a psychological game, I'm like, no, we spoon. We
Even-
go.
you know,
No, actually, we're not allowed. You're not allowed to spoon anymore.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, it gets too crazy when you start spooning. So
Yeah,
no
yeah.
showmances.
I was gonna say, was there any showman?
No show. No show. Not that I know of. There was no showmances that I know of at all.
Now, your final tribal council, did they fly you back to the States for that? Because I know a couple times they did it in like L.A. in a studio.
No,
and all
no.
that.
Well, what they used to do is they used to get to the final tribals on the island, obviously at the end.
And then Jeff used to take the final
Right.
tally and
And
say,
then- right.
jump on a helicopter.
And then look, he
he'd
came
be
into
off.
the LA studio. That used to be it was, and quite frankly, you know, when you get there, and that's what we were kind of looking forward to. But because of COVID, they didn't want to take a chance. So now they have, and you know, it's just a new game. It's a faster game. old Survivor pre-season 41, that was the game. 39 days. Now it's a faster game. It's much more advantages and things going on. We have to move quickly. And Jeff compares it to the monster in the room. Like if a monster comes in the room in a horror movie, either get out of the room or you're gonna get killed. Same thing in Survivor. Either you make a move right then or you're gonna go home. You're dead. And so it's a much faster game. So what they do now is they announce the winner on the island, which, quite frankly, in my case, I didn't win. I lost in the finale. It's a tough to process at that point. But the bottom line is, at that point, even when I lost, I felt very fortunate to be in the position I was in.
But you really didn't lose. You made it to the end. I mean, coming out number 2.
I don't call that losing.
Listen,
No,
and honestly,
no way.
Just being
You
on the
should-
show, I
yeah.
thought I won, and that's the truth. I thought I won. I thought I represented well for my age. I wanted to show in my own little way that didn't matter what age you were. Get off the couch. You could do what you want to do. Again, I looked at myself. I didn't realize I was 57 in those terms of being old.
But you know what? You lived a dream. You lived a
100%.
dream. I mean, I watched Survivor for years.
Yeah, I love
And I
it.
always thought, like, I'd love to go on that show, but I don't like bugs.
How the hell they keep you sequestered for so long? Like just not talking. It must have been eating you up inside.
In terms of what?
When you came home and the show hadn't aired yet, or obviously the end of it hadn't aired yet.
The truth is, you want to keep quiet. For me, I can only say the way I felt. When I came home, I didn't want to ruin it for anybody I loved. Of course, if you look at me, I lost some weight, so people think, no, they didn't think I was the first out. But I didn't want to tell my kids what I did, because number one, I didn't want to ruin it for them. Number two is, I didn't want them to start asking more questions. And same with my friends. And quite frankly, everybody respected that I didn't want to say it or that I couldn't say it. And quite frankly, I love the show so much that I wanted it to be fresh for the people in Hoboken, the people that will love me, my family, my friends. So, I actually really, other than my wife, who was my total confidant, nobody really knew what happened on the show except for the people that were there and my wife.
But now, if you won, how would it be going back? You got to throw your heads up in the air and say, I fucking won. That's got to be tough.
But, then I take away the moment from everybody that I love at the moment it happens. I almost ruined that moment. It's like opening up a present before Christmas.
Listen, if you hit the lottery, you're fucking telling everybody I hit the lottery.
Yeah, but I would get the money that day. Survivor had to wait for it.
Especially, you're coming home. The show ends. People are real excited. One of our own got on this show, and was the whole experience what you built up in your head being a Survivor fan for all those many years?
The show itself was, the truth is, everything was much more than I ever expected. Being on the show was much more than I expected. Meeting the people that I met. Listen, I went on that show saying, quite frankly, I got enough fucking friends. I'm 57 years old.
I'm not going to talk
I don't
to
need
anybody.
any friends. I don't really give a shit about these people. I'm going to go out there and I want to win the game. I want to fucking be the best. We're very competitive from Hoboken. I want to win. I want to win. I wind up going out there and I meet people from all walks of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had every kind of person from every walk of life, to every religion, every gender. It didn't matter. And I can say with confidence that those people opened my world up to many things that I never thought I would experience.
You still keep in touch with a lot of those people?
I keep in touch with every one of them.
Yeah.
They're all great people.
Even like the backdoor, I mean, there's a lot of backdooring that goes on.
Of course, but you know what I equate that
What
to?
Survivor
It's a
you
game.
watch?
It's a game.
Well, when you say
Hey,
backdoor, I
now.
don't mean...
Yeah,
But-
that's what I was wondering.
Right. But here's the deal. I equated it to playing poker. Me and you, we're playing poker here, and I have a pair of deuces. You have a full house. I bluff you into believing that I have more than that with my pair of deuces. You go out with your full house. I win a big pot with deuces. You're going to be pissed off. You may be even pissed off at me a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're going to say, fuck, that was a good fucking move. Yeah, Mike, that's how he equated the game. I may have thought of that too much like that because I think it's more emotional with the game, but that's the way I thought it. So when the game was over, whatever anybody did to me out there, it was part of the game.
Yeah,
If
you
you
made
got
some good
personal, that was-
decisions.
right.
Yeah, you made some really, really good decisions.
There was the one tribal council years ago, and I think the girl's name was Sue. It was on one of the first episodes.
Yes.
She said,
Sue Hawk.
"Yeah, Sue Hawk. I would if I saw you dying on the side of the road, I wouldn't spit to give you,
Yeah, I kind of listen. Some of my confessions, I kind of said stuff like that, like get ready. His head's gonna be. We have the guillotine ready. We're gonna chop his head off. I can hear it rolling down the street right now.
Yeah, but that's all part of the game.
That's all part
I
of
mean,
it.
Sue Hawk was. I mean, that was like a classic
Yeah, she
moment
said-
in Survivor history.
Just like again, we have the rat and we have the snake. She said, I think.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win?
Now you come back and the show airs. You have this newfound notoriety. You got the little blue check mark on Instagram, Hoboken Mike
That blue
T.
check was big, man.
Yeah, that was a big deal, right?
It was bigger for my daughter because she couldn't believe it. But
Yeah.
it was big.
So what are you doing with this new notoriety that you have?
Here's the beauty of being on Survivor. My whole life, it's not about like me. I just like to help people, and I like to me nice.
Obviously, you're a fireman. Obviously.
Nice is
it's your
free.
upbringing.
I always say it costs $0 to be nice. It's a shame more people don't give it away. Survivor has given me a platform to help people in need. So, especially in Hoboken. Obviously, I love Hoboken a lot. So I'm trying to be involved with the shelter. We have a Hoboken food pantry. We have the community lifestyles, which helps out, underprivileged kids go to camp that they never see. And I went to Camp Tamagua back in the 60s and 70s in Hoboken. That was the only time I ever saw a tree, or in terms of wildlife. And we used to go with the YMCA, and they do that for kids now. So these are programs that I lend my name to that I can't believe. I'm saying, like, I have an opportunity for them to say, hey, Mike Turner from Survivor Season 42 is going to be there. And that brings people to know the program and give more money.
That is fantastic.
I'm doing a 5K on the 29th. I put a team together.
Oh, wait till you see the notoriety for being on the Suffering Podcast.
That's
Shit.
the
That's what I was going to say. What was more special to you, being on Survivor or being on the Suffering Podcast?
It's
If you
didn't have the blue check mark, this would definitely give it to you.
This would give it to me.
Wait, I have a question. This is actually from
boy,
Lexi.
here we go.
No, this
Okay.
is a good question. What was your toughest challenge?
The toughest challenge.
Sitting next to
water-
Mike De Palma?
No,
No,
listen.
that's a good one.
Even Lexi laughed at that one.
She likes that one.
Was it like that was some tough
Well,
water? Those
the
water,
one water challenge that we had where he stopped. We were literally. It probably shows about 15 minutes of it going on, but we were out there by 45 minutes. And quite frankly, I was pissed that we had to be stopped because I didn't want to give up. However, that was the roughest one.
Yeah,
The
those
water
were
was
tough.
crazy. It was getting worse and worse, and just throwing us around. And quite frankly, we didn't eat at that point at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were weak. But that was the toughest challenge. Who knows?
So
Well, do you remember the episode with Elizabeth Hasselbeck?
I don't. Which one? I know. I remember her on the show. Obviously.
Yeah, she was on there, and she actually called me cute.
Really?
She must have not
Just shut up.
eaten for a while.
Just shut up. Just
She
shut
was
up and let me talk.
delusional. She went through the aqua dumping crap
What, you
thing.
gonna tell me? And
she called him cute as she was aqua dumping.
And she loves older bald guys.
Neuroplasticity. What was that?
Well,
Is that right?
Her husband played for the Giants.
was all
and
jacked
he's
up.
an older bald guy, and I had some connections. I was in a player's parking lot after a Giant game one day, and Elizabeth Hasselbeck came out. Her husband played for the Giants, and she saw my son. My son was real short, real small at that time. And she said, "You are so cute. You look just like your father." I said, she called me cute then.
See what he heard? I didn't hear that.
No, I didn't.
Like,
hear it.
Yeah.
I don't even listen to these two
but
anymore.
it's the same-
I'm
it's the
just here like
She called me cute by proxy.
Yeah, by proxy.
It's the same thing.
I'll take it.
It's the same thing as looking at a three-toed sloth and say, "Oh, that's so cute."
Yeah.
It's really not cute.
That three-toed sloth
Yeah.
is so
That's
fast.
what I'm talking about, Kevin. Take that. Touche. All right.
So, Mike, is there anything you want to plug out there? Or what are you doing now?
I just listen again. My platforms are, trying to help out the Hoboken shelter. I put a team together for the Hoboken 5K on October 29th.
I saw the poster up there, and
Yeah, if you guys want to come and join my team with the Hoboken Whiskers, we know the Hoboken Whisper. We can't stay quiet.
That's why it was so tough for you, probably not
was.
saying anything.
Well, that was the biggest
Hey,
thing.
don't say anything to anybody.
My wife and my kids were saying, says, Dad, you can't talk loud out there. And I go, what are you fucking talking about? I don't talk loud. And of course, and so when we got home, the first things my kids asked, was my dad loud out there? And they go, yeah, he was loud. Because they all knew about the Hoboken Whisper
Right,
too. So,
right. So you got the
Listen,
Hoboken.
if you're looking for a runner, don't look to your left.
Here we go.
So you
No
got the
way.
Hoboken 5K. Where can we find you on social media?
Hoboken Mike T on Instagram, Hoboken Mike T on Twitter, and just Mike Turner on Facebook.
And of course, we're going to put links to all that
Yes.
stuff in our show notes.
Yes.
Especially since it's such a worthy cause. We can't thank you enough for coming in here.
Dude, you're
it's
such
an
a
honor,
good dude.
Mike. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're such a good dude.
Serious. Yeah.
Listen,
It's an honor.
We
Thank
could
you.
bring him in. Listen, if we need a Hoboken guy in here from now on,
Whoa. I can't step on Mikey's shoes.
No, I'm okay with it.
I
You know, honestly, I'm okay with
No,
it.
because they'll be nice to me in the beginning. Then I'll start being you after a
100%.
while.
Yeah.
Then I get confused. I know.
That's how we suck you in.
They'll suck me in and I'll be
Listen,
done.
you better patent that aqua dump thing. I'm telling you right now, we might have to get shirts.
Mike, you've lived a very interesting and storied life, from being a fireman to being on one of the top-rated reality shows in the world. And you've suffered through every bit of it. You suffered being a fireman. You suffered for 28 days on the island of Fiji during Survivor. What do you think that suffering has
During the
taught you?
pandemic, no less.
Yeah. What do you think that suffering's taught you?
It taught me, no matter what, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And as long as you persevere, you'll always come out ahead. That's really it. There isn't a person in this world that doesn't suffer in some form. The weight we carry is the weight we carry. I may think I have the biggest weight, but your weight may not be as much to me, but it may be the biggest weight you've ever carried.
Amen.
And to end this show, we brought in one person who has made this all possible. And that's
Who gave us a social media question?
social media question. She is actually here in studio, and that's Lexi.
One of our biggest fans.
Yes, Lexi.
Thank you for Lexi.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Lexi. Now you're going to be a superstar just like Mike.
Ooh. Wait, which Mike?
Yeah, Mike Turner.
Both
Not
Mikes.
like this
Pick
one.
one.
All three.
Pick
she
one.
kept you out of the equation.
I know, but I did get a bracelet.
Yes,
That's all I care about.
Listen,
We
I
did.
just want to go.
She owes Mike
I am a
one.
little hurt. I am a little
Yes.
hurt.
She owes Mike
We're
one.
bracelet buddies now.
I just want to go on record. Lexi is the one who made this whole episode possible.
Absolutely.
And that's why we wanted to bring you in here and say thank you, Lexi.
Thank you,
Lexi,
Lex.
thank you very much for everything. All right. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast, The Suffering of Survivor with Mike Turner. And as usual, we're going to think about all the stuff that we learned here. Hard people create good times. Hoboken is a real community with its own language. Paradise is not always what it seems.
We have the dictionary.
My new word is aquadump.
Love it. Love it. Love the aqua dump.
Sometimes reality exceeds expectations, but most importantly, it costs zero to be nice. That's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Go to popple.com, put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount. Follow the Suffering Podcast at the Suffering Podcast. Follow Mike at Mike Failace, Mike_Failace. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson. And we're going to see you on the next episode of the Suffering Podcast.